야, 아저씨 잔소리가 들리네. 여기는 내가 맡겠어. 그러게 도망쳤어야지. 언제까지 나만 바라볼 거야?
Here we go. She's getting angry.
What's up guys, Ash here, and today we're going to be focusing our class spotlight on the second half of the dynamic duo, Bianca LeBlanc and her Black Mage. I thought for sure that we'd be releasing Scion's footage today, but it wasn't quite right. I want to make sure it's a perfect build that you guys love. So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
정말 무의미한 승부야. 내가 처리할 거야. 포기해. 이젠 그만하자. 무리야 무리. 넌 날 건드릴 수 없어. 자, 다음은 누가 도전할래? 당신의 저항도 여기까지. 정말 무의미한 승부야. 좋아. 이 승부는 내가 가져간다. 잠시 더러워졌잖아. 넌 날 건드릴 수 없어. 진작 포기했으면 좋지. 포기해. 당신의 저항도 여기까지. 기쁘지 않네. 정말 무의미한 승부야. 당신의 저항도 여기까지. 우리야 우리. 진짜 여기까지야. 이젠 끝내야 해.
I think this is what the Matrix looks like.
이 승리 하나도 기쁘지 않네. 무리야 무리. 진작 포기했으면 좋잖아.
Oh man, that is not right.
내가 처리할 거야. 당신의 저항도 여기까지. 자, 다음은 누가 도전할래? 알았어.
You see this, man?
이 승부는 내가 가져가. 역시 나.
Alright guys, let's get into the meat of the build. We'll start off with her personal masteries. For Pride, I don't find this too useful as, even though Confusion is an incredibly deadly debuff to have on your team, especially with high-powered characters, Black Mages like Bianca, this could definitely be devastating, but it is very rare to happen, and when it does happen, it's usually, you know, poor tactical movement. But I don't think this is either good on Witch or Black Mage. Witch of Small Room is actually a great ability, but it has much more synergy in the Witch version of Bianca. You'll be able to do Third Eyes without any action points, which is pretty cool. You could technically use this with Windwalk, but I don't find it worth the hassle, or not worth the amount that High Magic Education gives. This added hit and crit doesn't make all the difference, but it definitely helps. And for this particular build, I think you guys will definitely find this the best mastery to go with. And we'll move on to abilities. For abilities, I use Twister Kick. This is a high movement, high kill kind of build. Only Bianca kind of has this. Elisa kind of has something like this, but yeah. So for Twister Kick, important to note that the majority of this damage comes from attack power, not ESP. However, the way that we've built the Black Mage is so heavy that she's just going to blast straight through whether you've got 0 attack power or not. This is definitely a key component of this build, very important, and will definitely save your guys' lives a lot too once you learn how to use it correctly. I particularly like Whirlwind, since it's attack type fall, it tends to have better hit rate for various reasons. And, when you have like a 50% chance to hit because somebody's in the bush, you'll find much better with fall. You might, see it skyrocket up to 100. I love this as like a secondary ability and hitting units that would normally have really high dodge rates like rogues and thieves. Windwalk, not much to say here. It's high mobility, and that's what this that's what this build is all about. For overcharge, I actually like Wind Explosion, and a lot of people I think forget that Wind Explosion also gives movement. So you have Twister Kick, you have Wind Walk, and you have Wind Explosion. And quite frankly, Bianca can move throughout the entire map with all 3 of these abilities if used correctly. On top of that, Wind Explosion does a ton of damage. And even better, anything that does live, which I don't see anything living unless it has impulse fields, etc. They're going to have their AT increased by 100. They'll also have a high chance of being stunned, and as a bonus, it also clears fire and mist and stuff like that. So, pretty cool. I take Twister Arrow as the second. This is her farthest range attack ability. And even though it's for a single target, you might find some good use to it. This is very high damage, especially based on distance. Each tile is 10%. So, at 12 tiles, it's 120% bonus damage. It's pretty crazy. It also has a really high increase to hit chance. So if it's out of range of Whirlwind, you need to make that extra move. Twister Arrow is where it's at. I don't think Twister Dance is so good with this particular build. It doesn't have the range, it doesn't have the movement of Wind Explosion, and it just seems kind of lackluster. It seems kind of overshadowed by Wind Explosion because they're about the same distance, except for that Wind Explosion moves you, Wind Explosion does a ton of damage, it clears stuff. I guess Twister Dance does that too. Either way, I've found Wind Explosion to be much better suited for this build. And then for alternates, Wind Chain is not bad. Wind Chain, the debuff, is probably one of the strongest debuffs in the game. It's similar to Freeze in that they can't dodge, they can't block, and they can't do anything on the next turn. This is excellent on high value targets such as Wei, where you've got a magic stamp up. You need to hit him twice. You stamp, you Wind Chain him, you'll take off half his health, drop all his dodge, drop all of his block, and then, follow up Whirlwind or whatever you'd like, and that'll pretty much finish him, which is great. But this is definitely a nice ability. The problem is the attack range is very low, so you've got to be pretty close. And with this kind of build, try to stay about 6 tiles out, give or take, to avoid close suppressive fire. Wind Whip doesn't really work with this build, although really fun to use. You can pull targets forward and activate responsives, which is pretty neat. I wouldn't, I like it, just not for this build. Illusion's a great ability, just not for this build, and Windveil is also a great ability, just not for this build. So yeah, I recommend Twister Kick, Whirlwind, and Windwalk. All of them, high movement, high damage. Easy targets, easy kills. And that brings us to gearing. Gearing is very interesting for her. Bianca is the only character in the game to actually use the entire Light of Magic set. She's the only one that can equip all 5 pieces. And honestly, I quite like it. It gives you a passive aggression there. At the very bottom, it gives you like 30% hit rate total, gives you some ESP power, gives you some flat damage, gives you crit damage, lowers dodge chance, speed, and I just find that for this build, it works out very well. You could of course replace this with some reds as necessary, I'll leave that up to you guys and your discretion, but this is what I recommend for the build. And finally, we have the mastery page. I call this the turbulence build. I would say that the core masteries that you absolutely need would be the Forbidden Magic Book, the Improved Magic Stamp, and then Catharsis and One Shot, One Kill. Those kind of make up the, you have to have these for sure. The rest of these are definitely a good supporting function. Archmage Staff will give you a little bit less casting delay, as well as some extra bonus damage, which definitely helps. Magic Penetration is actually really great. She doesn't really have that same version that Scion has for lightning users, where they can use Atom Decomposition to lower resistance shred. So Magic Pen actually fits really well into the build. Circulation's good. I don't know if you guys watched the Vigor counter on the last build. I went from 300 Vigor to 15, give or take, pretty fast. Once this is stacked up to 10, you'll be getting 30 recovery just from that per turn, which is really great and very easy to get to. Magic training, this is personal choice. You guys don't have to use this, and this will give you kind of more of a flexible feel as you see fit. I don't like my characters to be too squishy. This gives them just a little bit more health and a little bit more ESP power. It also has the added hit chance, a little bit of resistance. You can't really go wrong with this. I like it for my builds. Accelerator is very good. Reduce cast delay, as well as every time you deal damage to a target with magic acceleration on, you'll lower your AT by 10, which is really great. Magician's Path, this actually isn't too good, and especially not good at the current moment where the game is at, where it's very heavy melee. You don't see a lot of casters, so to speak. You could definitely remove this as well. And then finally, I chose Second Wind. This is also an alternate ability that you guys could take off. You could throw on, if you wanted to be more heavy-handed with attacking and more hit rate, you could put Judgment on. My Bianca tends to kind of stray away from the pack with my team, and I use her as a kind of flanking assassin like I do with Albus. Second Wind gives that just enough defense to make her live through whatever she needs to live through. You could of course throw on Second Heart if you think you're not totally sure on staying alive, but Second Wind will definitely save lives, and you don't really notice it until it's gone. But yeah, this is definitely a good setup. I also think it's important to add that Second Wind uses wind type masteries, which many people forget about Black Mage's class ability. Black Magic Circuit increases crit hit chance and crit hit damage.
Alright guys, and that wraps up the video. I love playing this build. It kind of reminds me of a magical version of Albus, or at least the way that I play Albus and Bianca. It's really fun. 26 kill streak is just so awesome to see and move around and stuff. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please like or subscribe. Definitely appreciate it. And of course, I stream on Twitch usually at night. So if you guys want to come check me out, watch some gameplay, ask questions, whatever, please let me know. And until next time.